Hey, it's good to see you again. Are you ready to do something really fun? Well, I am. While we're getting started here, all the colors are going to run across the screen so you know what I'm using. What I've got here is a drawing on my paper. I'm using 300-pound paper, and it's really important that you always start with a really strong drawing. You always want to start with a strong drawing, or else, it might be a little difficult to paint in the long run. You can do it without a drawing, but it's much harder, believe me. So I really recommend, when you're getting started at least, that you start with a strong drawing. So, you know what I like to do when I paint these kinds of pictures. Painting sand dunes today. Let's go ahead and take a flat brush, and I think we're gonna, let's go into our cobalt blue here. I don't think we're gonna use much in the way of any other colors here. I think we're just gonna use that cobalt blue up in the sky. Maybe we'll go a little crazy. I don't know. But anyway, I've got my color on my brush. Luckily, I've got a second flat brush here that I'm going to use. I'm just making sure I've got no more paint on it right now. I'm going to go up there and get that sky real wet. Now, since I've got the paper angled here on an easel, my trusty French easel, it might be a little awkward to paint like this. So when you're painting at home, I really recommend that you just paint it at a different angle. Maybe you want to paint it a little flatter. Maybe you want to paint it at about a 45-degree angle. Really, whatever angle you feel is the right angle. That's the thing about art. Art is very freeing. It's a very personal choice. There's nothing anywhere with a set of rules telling you this is absolutely how you must make art. Now, since we're using 300-pound paper, got ourselves a little bit of residue from the bottom of the water bucket. I'm using a water bucket that has 3 wells in it, one for my rinsing and one for second rinsing, and then another well in it for clean color to paint with. I have 1 well of water that I use to paint with here. Alright, now let's make some decisions about where we want this to go. Okay, let's go in here and just drop some color. Ooh, yeah. Throw that cobalt blue in there, okay? Just let it roam free. That color, watercolor, is a very difficult medium to control. Very difficult. And if you can master watercolor, boy, you can master just about anything. Ain't that the God's honest truth? Oh, boy. So I'm just going in here, and I'm using a flat brush here, but you don't have to use a flat brush. I'm kind of applying this as I would a wash, One of the things I like to do with skies and stuff is, some of this water is getting really absorbed into the paper there. I think a lot of it's dripping down toward the bottom of the area where I wet the paper because of the angle of what I'm doing here. So that just happens. And you know what? We'll run with it. Because you know what? I've got a secret weapon. Now, on skies, generally the top portion of the sky here is where the color is going to be more concentrated, where it's going to be darkest. So we're going to go over here and, I'm just going to apply some very freeform strokes here. I don't want to let the paper get too dry, so I got to work fast here. Now, I just grabbed some more water here. Word of warning to all you people out there, to all you guys, my friend there, I know you're watching. Well, be careful when you add more water, because if you add more water to a surface that's already dried a little bit, well, it can cause something called a bloom. It looks very flowery and all that, and, well, it just displaces the pigment and causes it to have this kind of flowery type effect. Alright, so yeah, I'm using my flat brush here for all this. This is kind of a weird way of doing it. Watching that sky getting all kind of a dry brush effect up here. Alright, so we got all that. Now let's go ahead and take some tissue paper. Now I recommend just going and getting some cheap toilet paper from like Home Depot and stuff, Nothing too fancy. So if you got that, go ahead, and we're going to go down on this paper here. Yeah, go down here. Alright? And look at what I'm doing. Since cobalt blue is a non-staining color, it's very easy for me to lift. In fact, I can even wet the paper. The paper. That's a funny way of saying paper. Funny way of saying paper, right? I can wet the paper and I can lift this color up. Look how easy that is. Look how easy that is. And then we can go up here. Right? Now, I don't want this to be too strong up here, because I am trying to have some different kinds of clouds and stuff. Come on. Since this is on an easel, sometimes it gets a little awkward to manipulate. If you ever find that your color is getting a little too dried out, just add a little water on your paper and you can dab at it. You can dab at this all day long. Okay. In fact, the blooms aren't so bad for the sky because it creates kind of a cloud effect like that. It's really interesting to look at. Okay, there it goes. There's those clouds starting to form. All right. Sometimes you can even draw with them a little bit. Yeah, draw with your rag. All right. You know what I might do for this is I might, excuse me, since clouds are a little bit more organic, I might get out my big round for this one just to really make sure I'm doing it justice. All right. Okay. Yeah, there's that. Ooh, got a little splash down here. Yeah, like I said, when you paint an angle like this, a very sharp angle, this is very unusual for watercolor. I know I keep saying it, but I just really want to emphasize that you don't have to do it this way. I don't want you to take a crack at watercolor and then, you know, come at me later and say, well, what are you doing? You telling me to put my paper up this way and the paint just spilled right off the paper. Yeah, well, if you paint like this, it just might. Watercolor is one of those mediums where you kind of have to let it do its thing. There's some extent to which you can control it, but I don't know. A lot of times it takes on a mind of its own. The watercolor likes to just do whatever it wants in a very, well, literal sense. Well, maybe not literal, because watercolor doesn't have the qualities of you know, sentience, but still. Okay, well, we're getting some pretty nice sky stuff up here. And I think I might do is I think I might take off the edge over here a little bit. Yeah, we're getting some pretty interesting stuff right there, aren't we? Yeah, if we want, we can insert a few dry things in there later. Whoops. I accidentally hit my brush. I should set it down on the table. Well, it's just not an episode of this show without me knocking something down, is it? No, it sure isn't. Okay, let me show you something here. I'm going to clean off my round brush. Alright, so I got that all cleaned off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend my arm with my brush on it. I'm going to take it over here, and I'm going to swivel it. I'm going to do it real fast, and, well, I'm not going to do it right on the paper because I don't want water to get everywhere. Okay, but if you swivel it around, look at that point you get. You get a very sharp point. Very helpful little tint for tint. I'm thinking real hard about painting right now, can you tell? A very helpful hint for painting with round brushes. And this round brush is made with natural hair, so that type of technique really works well on it. Swirling it around. Okay. Ooh, we're getting a nice bloom up there, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah, check that out. Maybe if we take off the edge a little bit. Dab up here, maybe. Maybe we can get some really interesting things happening. I don't know. Sometimes it just helps to dab at it. You know that mottled effect where everything looks kind of loosey-goosey and like things are blooming in the sky. It works really well for clouds and stuff. I like to spend a lot of time on clouds and all that. I know. But I can't help it. I love them so much. I love them. I really do. Okay. Let's go over here. Let's go over here and get us a little something. I'm feeling real good about this painting so far. Be a shame if I felt lousy about it, you know. But yeah, well, I think we're off to a good start here with the sky and everything. some of that. Yeah, let's get some of that. Ooh. Maybe we'll get a little bit more cobalt blue. Oh, I love cobalt blue. It's such a beautiful granular blue. It's got really nice, strong color. It's like a perfect blue. Like, not like any other blue that you can get out there. And when I say granular, I mean that there's a sort of texture that you see when you paint with the color, where it has this kind of particle quality. When you put it on the paper, you see it do its thing on there, and that means it's granulating, because all the pigment particles are falling down into the notches of the paper, because the pigment is kind of heavy, which would make sense because it is cobalt. Alright, and cobalt is a very, well, heavy pigment. Not as heavy as, say, cadmium, but it really has its moments. Okay, I'm going to take out my other natural hair round brush here. It looks almost just like the one I just used, the big round. And I'm going to go ahead and maybe do some other stuff here. Let's go ahead and let's get a little bit more cobalt blue here. Yeah, a little bit of cobalt blue. And I might get a little bit of rose madder on this just to spice it up some. Yeah, now, rose madder. Man, that color will surprise you. What I'm looking for here is a color that's kind of violet bluish. I want a lot more blue than rose madder on this, okay? Yeah, I think I want even more blue in there. Yeah, that's the color. Ooh, that's a nice color right there. Let me see if I can show that to you. It's hard with the palette flat on the table like this, but that's what it looks like right there. Ooh, that's the stuff, right? Yeah, I know. Get a little bit more cobalt blue on that. Yeah, I'm feeling nice about that one. Okay, now go ahead and touch the paper. See if it feels wet at all. Ooh, it feels a little wet. Since it feels a little wet, it might not be the best idea to go ahead with that part right now. So, you know what we can do? We can go ahead with the water. And I think with the water, what we might do is we might get a little bit of, I'm feeling like we might want to get a little bit of that. Ooh, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to get some Viridian. Yeah, let's get some Viridian. That color is, Viridian's not a strong color. It's really not. It's a very good green. It's one of those greens that's also very granular. It's not too strong, so it plays real nice, but you gotta be careful because it has a mind of its own during the months of the year, depending on what kind of climate you live in. If you live in a humid climate, you don't have to worry about Viridian all that much. It won't give you too many problems. But if you live in a dry climate, you might be in trouble. You might be in a little bit of trouble. Just another one of those words of warning. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm going to get a little bit more cobalt blue to the Viridian on this one. Yeah. A little bit more cobalt blue to the Viridian. And then I'll add a touch of rose madder just to spice it up. There. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is stuff right there. I'm loving this. Okay. Now, I've got a bunch of color on my one flat brush, so I'm going to take my other flat brush and I'm going to see if that's got any color on it. Oh, it sure does. It sure does. Okay, oops. Let's take some, what do I want to do? Oh yeah, that's right, I want to wet this. Yeah, so there's going to be a wash. What am I thinking? Really getting ahead of myself on these paintings, aren't I? Yeah, I sure am. We're going to use a new tool today on this one. I think that's going to be particularly exciting because it's a tool that you might not expect unless you have painted with a lot of watercolors before, but maybe you haven't. And if you haven't, you might be a little bit surprised by what I'm going to pull out today. But we'll get to that later. Right now, let's really focus on, all of this business. I think I got myself a nice little wash here. Okay, I got the paper all wet at least. Let's go ahead with that color with the mostly blue with a little bit of Viridian and the rose madder, okay? And let's just go down here. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Now, isn't that a beautiful color? Isn't that beautiful? Oh, my goodness. Oh, And the color all sank right to the bottom, didn't it? Yeah, it did. And that's one of those times where you say to yourself, you gotta let the watercolor do its thing. Because the watercolor gonna watercolor. Yep. Alright. I'm trying not to displace too much color here, but I do wanna get some of these things down here, because sometimes you miss a spot when you're doing a wash. Alright, so a lot of the color is going to be strongest down here, which would make sense, because we want to push back this stuff here. This little bit of Lake Michigan right here is going to be in the, let's see, there it goes. This little bit of Lake Michigan is going to be in the background, so we're not gonna push it too hard. But we are going to give it a little bit of zest here and there. Okay, cool. Now let's go ahead and get a little bit more cobalt blue here. And I think. Ooh, get a lot of cobalt blue here. Yeah. Well, I am a big fan of cobalt blue. If you look real close, you can really see that nice granulation. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, so that color is starting to sink a little bit. Now, I don't really want it to sink all that much, so what I can do here is very gently, actually with a dry brush, I can take one of my round brushes right here. I can pick up some of that color, and this is with a dry brush, alright? This is for when you don't want to get too much color escaping you, alright? When you want to kind of contain it to an area, but you don't want to go lifting real hard and all that stuff, right? Okay, so let's go up here now. Just draw a line across all that. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's good work right there. That's good work. Alright. So what we can do, I think, is, well, we can go in here now. We've got this nice and dry, I think. Let's go in with some of this color that we made earlier. Let me see, which brush was I using? Okay. I'm using so many brushes right now, I'm losing track of myself. Alright, we're going to go in and do this patch of land right here. Okay. There it is. There she goes. Yeah. That's nice. This little range of hills in the back here. That's cool. Alright, so what I can do, if I got a little bit of blue in there, I can go and take some of that off, just like that. Okay. Alright, good. So we got that. But now, is there anything else we want to do to that, do you think? Well, which way is the sun coming? The sun is coming from the upper right, okay? So if that is so, then maybe ourselves a little bit of something going on right there, maybe something right there, something here. Maybe we got, all kinds of stuff happening in these hills. I don't know. We'll just go in here and remove some of that again. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait till a lot of this is dry down here to really add more stuff in. Okay. There it goes. There it goes. There. Okay. And let's just clean out that brush a little bit. And we'll give that one a good whip around. Cool. Now let's see what we want to do next. Well, I know what I want to do next. We gotta get that little patch of land right there in the background. So, what we want to do, we paint light to dark in watercolors. So we're not gonna get too overzealous with a lot of things quite yet. What we are gonna do though, is we are gonna paint this light orange color that we're gonna see right here. Alright? So we're gonna, let me mix something up with my, I might need to use my liner brush on this. Okay, so let's get a little bit of, you know, aureolin, and then a little bit of rose madder. There it goes. And I want a lot more aureolin to the rose madder on this one. We're going to use a lot of water. We're going to use a lot of water. I might even add a little bit of cobalt blue on this. Yeah, a little bit of cobalt blue is a good idea. If you do add a little bit of cobalt blue, make sure you add some more rose madder so that it doesn't shift toward green too much. And again, you want to use a lot of water on this. Lots and lots of water. Because we're making this a tint, right? Yeah, we are. We're making this a big old tint. We don't want it to be too overbearing. No, we don't want it to be too overbearing, do we? No, we don't. Okay. I've almost got this color just about perfect. Color mixing is a pretty touch and go affair sometimes. Alright. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work. And if it doesn't, we can always lift it a little bit. We can always lift it a little bit. Alright. Let's go ahead over here and let's paint that right there. Yeah, that's looking good. Alright. And we'll paint this little thing right here. And right around there. Okay. Right about there. Alright. Get this one right here. Ooh, that's looking strong. Oh yeah. It's a little too strong, you know? Okay. There goes. Things are alright. Things are alright. Come on, let's get that a little cleaner. There it goes. That's the way we want to do it. Alright. So go ahead and take out a piece of tissue, and you know, this might be a little strong right now, so if it is, we'll just take off a little bit of the extra, and boom. Look how soft that is now. Maybe you want it to be a little softer. Decide how soft you want it to be. You can always make it darker later. Remember that. You can always make it darker later, but it's a lot harder to make it lighter. It's a lot harder to make it lighter. Alright. Okay. Swirl that around, and then we'll give this the old treatment with the liner brush. Man, our brushes are really getting a workout today, huh? Okay, that's good. Well, let's take a look over here. We got a bunch of things we gotta do, don't we? Yeah, we got a bunch of things we gotta do. So let's go ahead and, you know what? I think I want to go in here with a little something. So let's go ahead with the flat brush. And we're gonna try to narrowly avoid some of these people. Narrowly avoid some of these people, I say. Yeah, well, that's the name of the game, right? Narrowly avoid them. Easier said than done. Alright, so I've got that. What do I want here? I think I want a color that is a little brighter. So we're going to take that aureolin and cadmium scarlet. Okay. And how do I feel here? I want more aureolin in this. Yeah. A little bit of aureolin will do this color good. If you've got remnants of the colors on your palette, you can go ahead and use those. Sometimes you got colors that you used from another painting and you can reuse them on this one. If you decide to do that, you know, go right ahead. Or if you want to, you can just wipe the color off like so. And then, you know, you can toss it aside. However you want to do it. Usually though, you do that when you feel like your color's becoming a little too dull. Okay. Let's see here. That color was getting to be a bit much. That's why we had to take it off. Okay. So I'm going to take that aureolin again. And now I'm going to take a little bit of that cadmium. Alright? Just a smidge more. Now what we're looking for is a real orange color. Alright? Real orange color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this tint is particularly light. make sure that I get this color real light here. All right. Now, let's go ahead right in here and make some big old decisions. Yep. Look at that color. Whew. Ooh, boy. Starting to think maybe we should have added some cobalt on that. You know, you can always glaze cobalt over it later if you really want to. There's nothing that says anywhere that you have to, you know, commit to a color like this. No, you don't have to commit. That's foolish. Go ahead and, you know, feel free. Oops. Okay. I might have gotten that. I accidentally got that guy. It's okay. It's okay. See? Look how easy that comes up. That is why we do this. Okay. So we're going to kind of just paint this whole area. It's going to be a lot easier if we just paint over a lot of the land. Now, I don't want to completely like demolish everything in the area because we have a lot of things that we want to keep around. But I do want to kind of capture the lay of the land here. All right. It's a lot of fine detail, especially all these people here. This is one of those paintings where we got a lot of people in it because there's a lot of people who go and do the dune climb. And this area here at Sleeping Dune National Park is just wild. It's one of the more underrated scenic areas in the country, I think. It's right on the edge of Lake Michigan. And if you go there, you go to the top of this dune, it is just gigantic. My goodness, it's actually kind of terrifying when you look down from this perch that's set off to the side. There's a little viewing area that's overlooking the dune, and it feels a little unstable when the wind blows real hard. Yeah, so there's that. And the truth be told, I do get a little nervous looking out at it. Oh goodness, just thinking about it gives me the heebie-jeebies, you know. Alright, so we got some nice stuff happening here. And, ooh, that's getting a little strong. Okay. Yeah, it's getting a little strong. Here, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go in with a round brush to get some of these tighter areas. Some of these areas are a little much. Alright. If you accidentally get someone, that's alright. We're going to go over my different color. The key here is to keep this light. Remember that when we paint in watercolors, we paint light to dark, not dark to light. And we do that because the dark parts, the dark layers, come last. They come last. I know you're going to be real tempted sometimes to paint in darks first, but don't do that because you're not going to be able to get your light colors in then. Okay? All right. Whew. Okay. Here it goes. There's going to be some land here. We're going to lift a few things here a little bit. Just a little bit. I'll go up in here with some more of my color. Go up in here. You know, sometimes you're going to get some more color. Try not to glaze too much color over what you've already done, especially if it's dry. Because when you put a color on top of another color, what happens is, well, it gets darker. And maybe you want that, maybe you don't. I don't know. But for right now, I want to make a note of a lot of these colors here. Alright. That's good, that's good. We'll do the same color down here, I think. We'll just do it down here too. With that. There. That's a nice color. I like that color. It's a nice vibrant color. Okay. That's cool. Maybe we'll just throw it down here too. You can already see there's a little bit of a lay of the land thing going on here. You can see that, you know, the land kind of twists and curves and all that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in here. I'm going here and get a few things. There we go. The beauty of using these colors. These colors make it a lot easier to paint. I select these colors for a very specific reason, to make it easier on myself, and also a little easier on you if you decide you want to go ahead and give it a shot. Because I know how it is. You decide you want to paint and you don't know the first place to start, so you look for anyone, anywhere who'll tell you how to do things. And well, sometimes people got opinions about one thing, and then other people got opinions about others. Oh man, I remember working with an art teacher once who had opinions that were completely contrary to my own. She'd be telling kids one thing when they would ask her stuff, and then they'd ask me, and I'd tell the kids something completely different. It's one of the things about art is sometimes your opinions don't necessarily jive, and it's not because either of you are wrong. Because you got, well, different tastes. Alas, alas. Alright. What should we do here? Oh, I know what I want to do. Let's go ahead and mix up some color here. Let's take some of that cobalt, that Aurelian yellow. And I'm going to go in with, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little Prussian blue on this. Ooh, yeah. I'm going to surprise you on this one. Alright? And you know what I say? We always want things to be a little brighter than we think they need to be. Okay? Now I'm going to surprise you a little bit more. Let's see if these things are kind of dry here. Ooh, that one's a little wet. But wait. Let's check the bushes. And how dry are they? For everything near the bushes. Okay, that's a little wet still. Okay. Well, you know what we could do while we're waiting for that to dry a little bit. Let's go ahead with maybe another color. Well, that's the thing about this, is sometimes you have to bide your time. With watercolor painting, you can't just hop right into each area and paint whatever you want. If only it were that way. If only it were that way. Alright, so you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to take some rose madder. Alright. Well, I should have started with the yellow on that one. I really should have started with the yellow. Okay. And, ooh, that's a nice color. That's a nice color. Okay. And then I'll take some cadmium yellow, or not cadmium yellow, cadmium scarlet. And I'll add it to that rose madder and Aurelian mix. Now, that's a real surprising one. I think that's going to make a nice color there. I don't know. Well, let's go ahead and clean off some of the colors that are on the palette here, because I need a little bit more space to work with to make the right size wash for this. Because we got a lot of area here we got to cover. I'm going to be covering a lot of area here. Alright. Yeah, sometimes you just got to clean things off, especially if you need the space. There's no shame in it. Look at us go. Look at us go. Look at us go. Alright, let's take a little bit more of that cadmium scarlet there. Alright? A little bit more of the cadmium scarlet. And then a little bit more of Aurelian. A little bit more. Okay, that's a nice color right there. That's a nice color. Okay, then we'll take some rose madder. Ooh, ooh. Ooh. Okay. Now we want to add a little bit more rose madder in there. What the heck? got my color pretty well set out. Let's see. Is there any other color that I could, well, I think I want to, here. Let's take a little bit more of that cadmium scarlet and areolin color, or areolin. Let's go in here. Let's see, where should we do it? Okay, there it is, right there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just getting a little bit more of that color in there. This color isn't very natural, I don't think, but it's so pretty that I can't help myself. Yeah, sometimes we just use colors because they're pretty. Did you know that? Yeah, sometimes we just use them cause. Just cause. It's true. Okay. That's good. Let's go ahead and maybe lift a little bit of that up. Yeah, I didn't mean to get so much on there. I got a little bit too excited. A little bit too excited. All right. Let's add some more water on this. All right. Let's see what this looks like. I know that's promising, right? Let's see what this looks like. Okay, that's not bad. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my round brush for this one, because I think the round brush is a little better suited for this kind of action. All right, there it goes. Oops. Okay. All right, there it goes. Okay. Very good. Whoops. Getting colors everywhere, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do. It's what I do and it's how I do. Okay. Now let's see, where are we gonna go? We're gonna go all the way over here. Here, let me adjust my paper so it's a little bit more this way. Okay. There it is. And we'll go all the way up here. Here, let's get some more water on that. Let's get some more water, and yeah, there we are. Perfect. I'm going to cover most of this area here, except for, you know, a few doodads up in here. There's going to be some land in here that I want to get. Not too much, not too much. Well, I'll leave some of this intact. Okay. There. That's perfect. Alright. We'll go over this way and get a little bit more of this. Can we get that? Yep, we got it. Okay. There. Cool. Alright. Okay. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and paint this over too. There it is. Very good. Alright. Oops. Now what we're doing is we're just painting, we're painting that kind of base coat, that light tint. But since there's like two different colors to the ground here, you know, we're painting some areas more of a yellowish color and some areas more of a orangish color. I guess you could call it kind of a shadowy color, you know? Yeah, I guess you could. Okay. be painting some other things in there to kind of cover up a few things and add some values. Alright. I think by now we've gotten enough area, we spent enough time on these areas that we can go back into here and break out the tool that I was talking about, alright? So, as I was saying, let's go ahead and take some of that aureolin, and then a little Prussian blue, okay, and with that color I'm going to take my sponge. I've got a sponge here. This is a natural sponge, and I could break off a piece of this, tear off a piece if I really wanted to, but I don't think I'm going to because I kind of want to keep this little piece intact here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the edge of it and I'm going to use it to kind of just tap in some of these colors on these bushes. So right about here, I tap in that, okay? And I tap in this, all right? I go over here, and you know, a lot of this is rinsing and repeating. Now you don't want to like keep doing it ad nauseum and all that, but you do want to get a lot of it. All right. I'll go over here. Just got some little things in here. Okay. Right here. Now keep in mind that's going to be the lightest color. You know, if you got some things that you want to hold on to that you don't want to get covered with paint, well, there's a reason that we're using the Prussian blue and the aureolin. Alright, so we got that. Let's see, I'll get a little bit more of that color right there. Okay, right, just like that. Alright. It's looking real nice. It's looking real nice. And we'll go in here, I think. Okay. Very good. Okay. And we'll go up in here. There. This way. Just like that. Okay. And then for the other areas over here, what I think I'll do, well, first I'm going to get this little area right here. Okay? Just like that. Good. Now, let's go ahead and mix up a little bit more of that color. Because what I'm going to do is cover this area here with a lot of that same color, but I'm going to switch to a different side of this. Alright, I'm going to start right about here. There. And that's a pretty stressful thing to try and do right here. It can be pretty trying to get in here and work all these colors in, you know? Okay. Here we go. There it is. There it is. Okay. Now we're working it in. Got that. Now that's looking real pretty, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Let's go over here. See how much more we can get. How much more can we get out of these colors, you think? I don't know. I don't know. I think I can get a little bit more out of it. Okay. I'm trying not to get the trees too much because, well, I'm going to paint over the trees a little bit. So I'm really working on not on not completely demolishing them and stuff. Okay. I still got a little bit of the other color left over, so let's go ahead and get these. There it goes. There's those. Okay. And we got this guy right here. Alright. And finally we got some pieces right here that we can put in with our sponge. Some highlights right there. Hold on. Missing a couple right there. Alright. Alright. Now am I missing anything here? Well, I might get that right in there. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else we can get. Well, I guess we could go ahead here. That's alright. That's alright. And we'll just give him one for the road right there. That's cool. Alright. So for that, to clean this sponge off, you kind of just wet it in water and squeeze it out in your bucket. Alright. So there's to it. Just that. Until you think it's clean enough. There's going to be a little bit of staining on your bucket and your hand's going to be a little bit wet. But you know what? That's just part of watercolor painting. That's just part of watercolor. Oh boy. We got ourselves a real interesting painting forming here, don't we? I think we can maybe go up to the back here and take a look at some of this stuff. Let's go ahead with our liner brush. I'll tell you what I feel like doing. I'm going to go in with some cobalt blue here. I'm going with that cobalt blue. And we're just going to cover up a few things here. Alright. I need to get that color a little bit more liquid. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. There we go. Just another one right there. And alright. Cool. Alright, let's see, where else do we need to go? Well, let's go. Actually, let's go ahead into the back. And let's throw down a little bit of that color. Alright. Very nice. We just want to spruce that up a little bit. Okay. So that's got a little bit more to it right there. And then we can go in with our liner brush again. And maybe, actually, you know what? The liner brush is for fine detail. We need something with a bit more excitement to it. So let's grab that, well, medium round. Let's grab some cobalt blue with the mix that we used earlier with all that verdian and all that business. Here, let's go up in here and get this. There it is. Now let's, pick a couple spots here. Go in here. And let's see, we want to go in here. Give that a little bit more something. There. You know what we could do is we could use the flat brush to go in and do these kinds of waves, but you can do this with a round brush too. You can do everything with a round brush, really. It's just that having all these other tools makes it a little easier. Okay. Now I know I'm getting real exaggerated here with it, but what can I say? There. And if you want, you can go ahead and soften it up You can go in there and do a little bit of this. There. Check that out. No pressure. I kid. No, I don't feel any pressure doing this. This is all fun. I'm going to take some more of that Prussian blue and the aureolin. You know, these people are going up these hills, they're looking at all this grass and looking at it going, well, I see bushes back there, but what happened to all those little grassy mounds that are kind of growing all over the area? Well, yeah, well, here they are, guys. You requested them, and so I'm putting them in. I want a little bit more of that aureolin on there, though. Yeah, just a little bit more of that. Oh, there it goes. We'll just follow this whole thing here, because you know there's a whole bunch of this color all the way down. Yeah, it gets all the way up here. Look at that. What do you think? We got enough of that color yet? I don't know. Let's get enough of some of this. Come on, there. Got some of that there too. All right. Now there's going to be little patches that are kind of just growing all over the place here. You know, we'll just mark them. We'll mark them. There they are. There's another one. Ooh. So we're finding all kinds of them, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Okay. Look at that. Oh boy. Man, I just get so excited every time it's time to paint one of these. Because I know you guys get real excited too, and well, I know how much you enjoy watching, my friend. It's nice to be here with you. It's nice to have you here with me while I do this. Well, that's what I look forward to every time I sit down here, thinking about you and how much you're going to enjoy this and how much maybe you're going to get out of it. I don't know. Maybe you like painting. Maybe you just like watching it. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If you just like watching it, you know, respect. I'm just getting a little bit of my viridian and aureolin here, so I can do this little bush right here. Now, oops, I'm getting color everywhere. I'm having accidents galore. I gotta stop setting my brushes down on my down on this well. Oh, that's silly. I'm just ripping off a piece there for later. And what we can do, we can take this and soak up that color that we made with the it's too wet still. It needs to dry out a little bit. Yeah, well, it was worth a shot. Here, we'll just cover this up like this. See? There it is. Yeah, we'll throw a few blades out here that kind of just growing all over the place. Just like that. Yeah, that's it. Just want to capture a little bit of that. There we go. Just right down there. All right, this thing is starting to take shape, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Okay. Now I see some area that maybe could use a little bit of some color right here. Ooh. And maybe that color kind of extends all the way down this way. Yeah. This is when things start starting to get a little darker as we go along. Yep. Maybe we've got that guy right there. Yeah, we're seeing some interesting ideas kind of play out, some shadows. You know, these people here, man, they're just kind of sitting around on the dune because they got all tired of trying to climb back up. Yes, there's a chance that might happen if you decide you want to take your chances and climb the dune. This great big dune. It's one of the biggest things you'll ever see. really couldn't believe it the first time I saw it. I was just looking at it going, my goodness, that looks terrifying. Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. Oh, you wouldn't believe the vertigo I got. I didn't even dare try and climb this thing. It's actually a big sign once you get to the area that warns you, you can climb this thing, but it's going to cost you about $100 to get back up here if you decide you want to climb it and then you can't get back up. I just thought that was the funniest thing, that they would warn you like that before you go down. Hey, it's your choice if you want to go down, but if you go down, we're going to charge you. And of course, some people decide to go ahead and climb it, but then a lot of them can't get back up. Some of them just roll right back down the dune. Some of them look like they hurt themselves. They might have. They probably needed that little extra help later. All right, let's take a look at what we got to do here. What we got to do, do I wonder? What do I wonder? All right. Well, we don't have to think too hard, I don't think. What I think I want to do is maybe we should keep it relatively simple with all the bushes and everything here. I'll tell you what I want to do though. Let's go ahead and take some rose madder, all right, and the cobalt blue. Now for trees and stuff, there's probably going to be a little bit of texture there, and that's where granulation really comes in great use, because you'll be working on this stuff and realize, oh my goodness, this would look a lot better with a little bit of granulation in it. Because, these natural objects like this, frequently they look a lot better with the granulation. So we'll just throw a little bit of that on there. And then we'll add a little bit of something later. You can add all kinds of sticks and all that. Maybe there's a guy out there, and there's another little tree right here. And you know what? We're going to use this color right here for all these little sticks. I think maybe there's one right there, and there's one right here too. And okay. Probably should have got my liner brush out for that one. Here, let me get my liner brush out. In fact, let me mix up a little bit more color. I'm going to get some more of that rose madder. It's a pretty violet color what I'm mixing up here. I'm just mixing up, then I'm adding a little bit of yellow. And then I got my tree color. And I'll add a lot of water to it. And I'll come down here. Come down here. And I'll just add that. That's all there is to that. Come down here. Actually, let's take a little bit of that edge off, because we want this to be a little lighter than that. I'm getting too heavy-handed with some of my coloring. So like I say, you got to be real judicious about what kind of colors you use for your lightest colors. Because ideally, if you do this just right, you can combine all these things and pretty easily make a little tree thing happen with a couple of strokes. But if you're going in with too much color and you do all kinds of crazy things right off the bat, it's going to be a little harder for you. Look at that. Yeah, it's a pretty strong color I mixed up, I think. But it's not a bad color at all. I'm definitely going to use it later on. Here, just add a little bit of something right there and tone it down. There. Look at that. And we'll add a little something right there for this guy, and maybe add another one. Here. There it goes. That doesn't look too bad. Actually, we could probably combine that in the one right there, couldn't we? Yeah, we could. There it goes. Now we got things a little softer. All right. Okay. And let's feel this. Okay, everything is a-okay to the touch right now. So let's go in with our sponge. Try it out the best I can. All right. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to take my round brush, and I'm going to get some more of that aureolin, okay? But I'm going to get a lot more Prussian blue this time. A lot more Prussian blue. I want this Prussian blue to be, well, really heavy on the Prussian blue. Now you can decide how far you really want to go with it, but I think I'm going to make it lean a little bit toward blue. A little bit more toward blue on the green side. Real bluish looking green. You'll see what it looks like in a second. Alright? Okay. Well, here goes nothing. Okay. So now we're going to go in to these colors right here. Alright? And then we're just going to tap it. Just like that. Okay? And then get a little bit more. And there. You know, just decide, since the light is coming from the right, make some decisions and put these dark colors at kind of random places, you know. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. There's no need to stress yourself out about it. There we go. There it goes. In fact, we might even put one right there. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Go in here. There, that looks nice. Be brave, be brave. Okay, just like that. That's, there it goes. Okay. This really is an act of bravery, what we're doing right here, right now. Going in and trying to use a sponge to do this. Oh, it's one of the, it sounds horrible when you first hear it, but when you finally start doing it, it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad at all. Okay, you got some nice things going right there. Let's get a little bit more color on that and go in here and do this one. Okay. That's nice. Okay. And we'll go right here. There. Now that's looking good. Okay. Let's go ahead. Now that we got that, what do you think we should do? Oh, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of the cobalt yellow over here. Cobalt yellow aureolin. And then, let's see here. Let's look at this. What's this one look like? I think. Ooh, boy. You know what I might do, actually? It's a little bit of a hard edge. I don't know how I like that hard edge right there, so I'm just gonna be very delicate with this and see if I can lift that cobalt yellow a little bit. Or not cobalt yellow, but the cobalt blue. Oh, I'm not sure I can lift the cobalt blue, so let's just go ahead and cover some of that up. There it goes. Okay. There it goes. That's fine. That's some patch job right there, huh? Yeah, a little bit. People down the dune are looking up at that going, what kind of bush is that? Looks like someone just popped it in there. Yeah, it's because they did. Because they did. And by they mean me. Looking at me thinking, what kind of creator we got here? This guy doesn't know what he's doing at all. Yeah. It's true. I'm a fraud. Oh, goodness. Here. Clean off a little round brush right there. Give it a swirl. And we'll take some of that aureolin. Yeah. Mix it in with the Prussian blue again. And we'll get some neat little colors, I think. And we'll get some neat stuff. Okay. Alright. So, now, with the other side of that brush. Let's see what we can do here. Well, I'm going to go right here. That needs a lot more color on it, I think. Yeah. The sponge is a little easier to use when it's dry. But we don't have time to wait for this to dry right now. So we're just going to make the best of it, I think. There, I got a lot more color on it this time. There it goes. There's a lot of color on that. It is loaded up. Okay, just like that, okay? All right. Over here, we'll do this one. Nice. Okay. Over here, we'll do that. Very nice. And then, well, we still got some color on the other side there, so. You can twist your brush around, or not your brush, but your sponge around while you do this. See what happens when you turn it. Maybe you'll like the results. I don't know. Okay. There it goes. Here, let's get a little bit more of that color in there. A lot more of that Prussian blue. There. Okay. And over here, we'll just like that, okay? Now, there. Twist it around. Now, there she goes. Okay. Now with that color, we can go into here. And render some of these. All right. And then there. All right. Everything's looking pretty good over here, I think. If we want, we can go in with maybe a darker color, but I don't think I'm going to do that at this point. I'll make some big decisions later after we got the rest of this stuff painted. Okay. Look at us go. Look at us go. Let's go ahead. I think, ooh, well, we still got to do this little bush, don't we? Yeah, we do. And we still got to go in here and give our trees a little bit of a darker color. So let's go ahead in here and we'll just give this guy right there. And you know what? He's going to have a little bit of a darker look right here. Okay. Just like that. And this guy's going to have a little bit of a look right there. There it goes. There it goes. There are our trees right there. Little trees growing right on that little top of the mound. We're not done quite yet, though. We're not done quite yet. We gotta go give these guys. We gotta give these guys a little bit more something. Yeah. Because, you know, they got little pieces of trees that are kind of just growing all over the place. Yeah, they're kind of just all over. Alright. There it goes. There it goes. There's going to be some shadows we can lay down in a second. Anyway, let me go ahead and... Well, what should we do now, do you think? We should stop painting the people, maybe. Yeah, maybe we should start getting these people a little bit. Alright. So... Today, well, let's go in with a red here. And we can start right with the clothes if we want to. We can just give this guy over here a little bit of a red something. And then, you know, this guy over here has got some red pants, so let's give him some. Yeah, red's going to be very much in season this year. Now, I tell you guys that when you're painting by yourself, you can paint as many people as you want, and you can make them all kinds of different colors and stuff. But when you're working for speed, like I am right now, I'm working for a little bit more speed. What you want to do is you want to make all the people pretty much the same color, or at least variations on a color mix. So it's a lot easier to do a lot of people all at once if you're not constantly, you know, color mixing. So there's that. Okay. Oh man, red is fashionable this year, isn't it? I'll say. Got this one fella back here is wearing a little bit of red something. Yeah, look at him. He's in style. Okay, so let's go in with our blue now. And you know what we're gonna get that cobalt blue out, and we're gonna make it sing. Okay. So right about here, this guy, he's got some cobalt blue on. Yeah, he's really wearing that cobalt blue. Okay, this person, you know, what's this group doing here, do you think? I don't know. Maybe they're walking down the hill and this fella right here has decided to hold them up and say, hold on, I want to get some more pictures. Meanwhile, everyone else is kind of, you know, kind of sore. This guy over here looks like he's about to barf because he's been walking up this dune for so long. He's going absolutely mad. Yeah, here. Let's get this guy a little bit of darker attire right there. Yeah, it's cool. This guy's going to have a little bit of a darker one too. All right. Looking good, everybody. Looking good. Yeah, let's go ahead and get some of these other people. Okay. All right. And what we can do is we can lift the color a little bit, because we're going to very lightly go over them in a second with another color that's going to make them pop a little bit. All right. All right. Got ourselves some real nice stuff going on here. I'm kind of enjoying this painting. This painting is a very nice little exercise here. Let's take some Prussian blue on this. And I'm going to get a little lighter, I guess, because we don't want to be really, really dark in the background. But also, you know, Prussian blue doesn't stain like a phthalo blue would, which is why I like to use it. All right, let's go over this. And we're going to do kind of a time-tested color right here. There was a lot of mixes of, you know, Prussian blue and cobalt blue way back in the day and stuff. It was a real popular mix. So we're part of a rich tradition right now, aren't we? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. All right. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. And that makes it pop just a little bit more. That's what we want. All right. Well, let's go ahead and I think we'll continue the people, shall we? Yeah, let's continue the people. Here. Let me get a little something on this guy right here. That's the way. And maybe this person next to him has got a little bit more of a green shirt. I mean, why not? Why not? There's no reason why. You can make these any old color you want, really. You can make them any old color. Any old color at all. Doesn't matter. If you don't like the colors I'm doing, go ahead and do your own colors. Because, you know, You should be making these paintings your own anyway. It's more fun when you make your paintings your own. These people are probably giving me the stink eye right now about the colors that I'm putting on them anyway. Why are you making me this color? This doesn't look like anything I would wear. It clashes. You have no sense of style. And I'm just looking at him going, what do you want from me? I've only got a couple hours to do this. I ain't got all night. This is one night only. This isn't a 2-night show. Alright, let's make this one a little bit something special right there. Cool. And what else can we do? Where is there anybody we missed? Oh, I think we missed somebody right here. Here, you get to be blue. Yeah, you do. Yeah, he's kind of just sitting there, minding his own business. A lot of these people are just kind of like wandering around, wondering, is this ever going to end? Why did I ever decide to do this? This is the most foolish thing I've ever done in my life. And meanwhile, all the public park rangers are looking down with binoculars going, we told you, but oh, you knew, didn't you? Yeah, you just knew. Alright. There's a few shortcuts we're going to have to take pretty soon to really get the most out of this in a very short period of time, but for right now we can still, have ourselves some fun. Alright. Let's go in here. Okay. Maybe that guy's got some dark shorts over there. Oh, I think we missed a little piece of foliage right here. Okay. Okay, well, it happens. Here. There's that guy right there. Did we get all the people? I think we might have gotten all the people almost. Almost. Here. Let's just get a touch of the Cabin Scarlet and go in here and get that one. There he goes. Yeah, he gets to be the loner out of the bunch wearing something different. Okay. Let's take that aureolin that I like to talk about so much. You know me. I'm such a big aureolin guy. Alright, I'm going to get a little bit of rose madder. Ooh. Boy, when rose madder is nice and wet, it'll really surprise you with how strong it is. Oh boy, I'm going to need this to get a little lighter. Because we're going to use a very, very light rose madder and aureolin to paint the flesh tones on these people. Whoops. Okay, maybe painting the flesh tones wasn't in the cards quite yet. Not for some of these people. Yeah, right now it looks like all these people are getting a good tan, huh? I'll say. Let's see, where did I put it? I'm getting my colors all mixed up. That's what happens when you have paint all over your palette. Okay. Yeah, that guy there doesn't have a shirt. That guy doesn't have a shirt. Forget it. He just doesn't wear a shirt. Sun's out, guns out, am I right? Yep. It's one of those days, guys. Yeah, it is the summer here. Let's go ahead and get this guy too. These guys are not wearing any shirts. Yeah. They look cool, don't they? They think they look cool. What they really need to do is hit the gym. Okay. Alright. Let's go in here. Get that one. That one. Alright. And that guy, he ain't wearing a shirt either. There he goes. Oh, wait. I keep forgetting. Oh, there's all kinds of people in this one. Oh, man. Okay. Alright. Good. Good. Here. This guy needs some pants. I need to put some pants on this fella. Here. There he goes. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Now for... let's see here. What can we do? I know. We'll go in with a little bit of the cadmium scarlet. And we'll make some of this land here kind of stand out. Like right in here. Alright. Just like that. Okay. Maybe. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the paint break a little bit. I'm going to let the paint break a little bit because, I don't know, it's sand. So that little dry brush effect right there could be really useful in making it look more like sand. And that color is going to be kind of intense too. Okay. Remember, sometimes watercolor has a mind of its own. Okay. Yep. Just gonna let it do its thing right there. Over here. We're gonna go back in with that. That's a good color. Yeah. Cool. Very nice. You know, oh, this gets a little lighter up at the top there. That's nice. That's real nice. Whew. Whew. Yeah, you know it's intense when I'm hooting like an owl. Here. Let's go in with some stuff here. I think I'm gonna use a little bit of Prussian blue with the aureolin. Get a lot more Prussian blue on there. Kind of just make sure it's all blue and all that. And then I'm gonna go around the edge. Alright. And I'm kind of just going to go around the edge. It's a shortcut. But it's one that's not that bad of a shortcut. There. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. That's looking pretty cool. It's looking very cool. Alright. What I can do, well, these guys wait to dry up there. I can go in with a little bit more of that dark color. What I think I might do though is I might go in with the rose madder and the aureolin to get that color, because you know this part is standing out a lot over here, but the rest of it is a little bit more iffy. Okay. So again, we're going to do some more dry brushing, I think, where I'm kind of just going to pull a lot of it down. Alright, so let's go ahead over here, and we're going to do some more lay of the land stuff right here. There. There. Sure does lift pretty easy, huh? Yeah, it does. I got a little bit of cobalt blue in that mix, so that could make all the difference here and what we're about to see. I don't know. Yeah, this is a little bit of a dry brush effect, I know. But it helps to get that texture. There it goes. I'm really feeling things out here, I notice. Feeling it out, seeing which way it's going to take me when we're painting these things. This one's taking me to some interesting places. It really is. Okay. There we are. What I might do is go over a couple of these areas over here. Okay. Just like that. Just like that. Whew. There. Just like that. Okay. 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 My goodness. Painting these is nothing short of adventure. I'm sure you know that. Okay. I don't know if I like having so many hard edges here. Okay. I'll get a little bit more rose madder. Some more aureolin in there. Okay. Right around the edges here. Yeah. Just like that in there. Okay. Yeah, a little bit of wet on wet action. Like that, don't we? Yeah. Here. Let me see where. There it is. Okay. Alright, this is interesting painting. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Well, what else do I think I want to do here? Well, we should probably go ahead and add some rose madder into the shadow color with Prussian blue. And maybe we'll add a little bit of the aureolin to that. And we'll have kind of an olive green color. Now you want to have more Prussian blue and aureolin than rose madder on that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up in here and with just like that. Okay. holding the paper steady for effect here. Well, so that I don't lose control of it. There, that looks pretty decent. Now let's, with our brush, do I want a liner brush on this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Here, I'll add a little bit of Prussian blue. This is just with the liner brush. I'll get the aureolin out, and I'll use a little bit more aureolin than Prussian blue, and I'll just get that little area right there. Okay. Anywhere else there's a little bit of land that needs to be put in there. Okay. That's good. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Alright. Let's add some more Prussian blue. And rose madder to get ourselves a little bit more of an olive green. All right, and we'll go across all this. Okay. Here, sometimes it helps just to scrub it in there. And what I do for plants sometimes is I just give the lines a little bit of a squiggle. There it goes. This is just to make it pop a little bit. And right over here you can go. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Sometimes I know I'm not so talkative when I really get into what I'm doing here, but we got some good stuff happening. We got some good stuff, and I'm at a place where I want to keep it that way. All right. Okay. There it goes. And let's see, right about here we can maybe insert something, and maybe we can push that tree forward a little bit, you know? Yeah, that might work. Okay. And up here we'll kind of just give that a little bit of encouragement too. Nice, nice. All right. Okay. And over here, why not? Throw that in there. Okay. There it goes. Yeah, you can see how I do it. Sometimes it's very messy and haphazard, but also, you know, it adds a lot of that. It adds a lot of texture that makes it look real nice. So, okay. There's that. Okay. I'll go in here and add that. Cool. Nice. Alright. What else could we possibly do in here, I wonder? Well, we could add a little bit more of that color too, I guess. Okay, over in here, maybe we'll add some more stuff right there, and maybe this could be the end of this little patch right here. Okay. That might be about good for right there. Alright, so for the people, I think we got enough scrubbing done in there. So let's take a color with aureolin, rose madder, and cobalt blue. And make us kind of a, I don't know, kind of a violet-ish color. Yeah, violet-ish color. That really narrows it down, right? And we'll go ahead and, here, we'll just give these guys a little bit of an outline here. I know we haven't really given any of them hair, but do we really need to? No, they're so small that you're not going to be able to see much on them. Okay. There's these guys. Oops. Okay. So there's those fellas. Now, these guys are going to have a little bit more of a cast shadow on the ground right here. Alright? Now, when you do your cast shadow, be sure it goes up that little hill that we made. Sure it goes up the hill. Now, there's this guy kind of just lounging back, taking a sweet time getting back up that dune. See, look at that. It's going up. If you want, you could break it up a little bit too. You don't have to keep it like a straight line like that, but you know me. Lots of shortcuts sometimes. Sometimes. Sometimes I really sell myself short. Okay. Yeah, just like that. You got this guy over here. This person. Alright, let's get that a little wetter. Alright. So we got ourselves that violet color again. Alright. There. That's nice. Well, what do you think? Think maybe we should... What more should we do to this, really? That's a good question. That's a good question. Well, what we can do, I definitely want to get a brush that's a little bit more suited to this, so... Well, let's go ahead and... Oops. Well, it just wouldn't be an episode unless I dropped something. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's looking nice. Here, we can go back up in the sky, I think. Maybe. Okay. Grab some blue, that cobalt blue. Do I have a color in there? Or not a color, but a hair? Yeah, I got a little bit of a hair in there. That's crazy. Alright. And let's go in here and really push that blue color. There. That's nice. Okay. That's nice. That's nice. can go in here and insert a couple of things here too. Because maybe there's a lot of sky color that's showing through. Who knows? Maybe. Alright. And then we can get some tissue paper. And you know what we're doing. We are softening things. There. Because we don't like those hard edges. Those hard edges are okay. Now we don't want to smudge things, so we're kind of just tapping it. You know, lifting a little bit of color here and there. Trying to get that cloud effect. There. That's pretty nice, huh? Yeah, it's not bad. Alright, so let's go. Ooh, I don't know. Let's go into the Viridian here. And we'll take a little bit of rose madder. And maybe I'll just throw some stuff down in there. Yeah. Get some of that effect going on right there. Yeah. That's cool. And well, I think now we can start deciding what we want to do with our violets and stuff, because I kind of like the shadow color that we made with that Viridian and the rose madder. I think that might be our go-to shadow colors time. Now this is going to be a little bit more on the rose madder side, so let's go ahead and just throw that down in there. Then maybe we got some more color up in here. Maybe we got a little bit more color over in here. I don't know. And yeah, we already inserted that color before, but let's insert it again. And any place else that I want to go ahead and throw it in? Yeah, let's throw it in there. Actually, I like the angle on that. Here. Let's get our trusty liner brush out. That's better. Okay. Okay. There it goes. Now we can start playing around a little bit more with our sand color. There's going to be a little bit more rose madder to the aureolin on this. I'm just going to throw it in with, you know, my cobalt color to get it kind of a little bit more muted. Yeah, a little bit more muted. And over in here, maybe you got that color going. And maybe in here we'll maybe there's a bush right there. We can insert some more green if we want. We can always insert more green if we want. Okay. Alright, what's going on in here, I think. Okay. And down in here. There's going to be a little bit more action happening there. Okay. Very good. Okay. go down in here. And let's pick a nice area right there. This area there too. What do you think I want to do? What do you think I want to do? Well, I'm going to start dry brushing a little bit over in here. Okay. We'll just, here, this way. And then maybe we'll go in, because these people are just about ready to start climbing up this hill again. They're ready to start climbing up this sand dune again, I think. So they want me to finish this up sooner rather than later, you know? Oh, I know. You know what I say. It's not like they're going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah. Yeah, ain't that the truth? They're just standing around moping. That's what they're doing. Alright. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to get the big brush for this. Yeah, I feel like the big brush might be better suited for this. Here. Get a little bit of that aureole and some rose madder. And I'm just going to cover a lot of this, I think. Yeah. Get that nice and dark. We're not going to make this all perfect and everything because, you know, the sand. Alright. Yeah, we'll get a little bit more of the aureole and the rose madder. And we'll just throw it in with that cobalt mix so it has that nice look to it. Ooh, yeah, we're getting a nice drip on that. Yeah. We don't want the color to be as concentrated on these parts, but we want it to be noticeable, you know? Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very nice. Very nice. So, let's take a look at some of these areas here. I think I'm going to take some of that aureole and the cad scarlet. And I'll put aside the tissue that I'm using, get a new one. I want it to be real light when I do this. Yeah. There it goes. That's already really light. Okay. Yeah, looking good. Come on. Lift the color a little bit, just a little bit. Alright. I think we're coming upon the home stretch here. Come upon the home stretch. Thank goodness, right? Oh, I know. I know. Because this painting can be very difficult. It is so challenging. Things like this. Watercolor is challenging. I'm just getting a few areas that I missed earlier. There. That's good. Looking good. Looking good. Here. Yeah, we can paint this stuff all day, can't we? Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. But there comes a time when I must get going. I'm trying to decide if this little painting's quite done yet. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I could go on forever. You get mesmerized painting stuff like this. Okay. And I'll just add a little bit of that aureolin. Yeah. Making kind of a brown color here. I'm adding a lot of rose madder to it. A lot of rose madder, aureolin, and a touch of cobalt blue to really capture that. And let's go over the entire thing here. Okay. There it is. Okay. Let's get some aureolin and Prussian blue on this, because there's a little patch of land right there that I kind of want to cover up. Okay, here it goes. All right, so we'll just take some Prussian blue then and throw it at the bottom. Okay. And a little bit of rose madder in there will really fix things up, maybe. 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 There. Okay. And we'll just soften a few of those marks there, because you don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Got that one. Here. This will really add some character, I think. There it goes. And then this one here. Okay. Well, I think we're getting pretty close here. There she goes. Here. Get a little bit of that cobalt blue and rose madder on this. There she goes. There she goes. Okay. Well, I think we just about got ourselves a finished painting here. Now I could go at this all day long, but we gotta stop eventually, and I think this is a pretty good place to stop. I'm actually pretty happy with this one. I think that everything turned out really, really nice. Really nice. Yeah, you know, I could, like I say, I could go in here and do this kind of stuff all day long. Keep touching up all these colors and all that. Making little adjustments. Using my brush to kind of go nuts. Yeah. Whew. I know, I should really stop. I should really stop. Can't help myself. Here. There. Oh, boy. Okay. And one more for the road. One more for the road, I say. Okay. So a little bit of something right there. Okay. That's good. That's good. All right. Let's go ahead and sign this one, because I've had a lot of fun painting it, but I think it's time for us to go. And I'll just, make an occasional mark here. Come on, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. Let's get the cat in scarlet now and sign this one right here. Yes. Okay. And that's how we know it's done. Well, I've had a lot of fun with this one. I hope you really enjoyed this. I hope you give this one a try yourself, because this is a really challenging painting, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. This is the Dune Climb. Until next time, with love from me to you. Bye-bye.